done about endgame and how that build is going to look as we get closer and closer to 50-ish. Once we hit mid game roughly. But there's an entire chain of things that needs to happen before we get to that point. And I wanted to put things in perspective, so that people could see kind of where the path for actually leveling is, what leveling is going to look like. Because it's going to be different if you plan on running Sorcerer for your main. I have that kind of mapped out as well, and I'm going to go through those steps and build each one out on the fly, at least on the skill tree side, because I think bosses are tough early on. I don't think they will be, Seuss. I think I kind of got this shit on lockdown. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna rely on a couple drops, maybe. But we'll see. Let me get it up for you, chat. My mommy Lilith's hand, please touch me. So if we're looking at a freshie, we go Sorcerer here. Let's go to skill tree. I'll probably still be an arc focus, so I'll probably still start with arc lash. I'll probably still go enhanced immediately. But at that point, so as soon as you can do charge bolts, I'll get charge bolts as well. Because I think opening the skills up early is way more important than pushing the level up early. I'll go flickering for movement speed, just like endgame. I'll go enhanced, and then destructive, just like before. It's at this point that things kind of change, because instead of flame shield, because we won't have any of the fire stuff set up yet, I will not have an enchantment yet, and since I'll be lacking firebolt, there's no reason to run flame shield as well for the burns. I'll probably go teleport, ice armor, and frost nova to get that done. At this point, I don't need to put points into enhancements yet, so I will probably start pushing up. We need a point or two in our clash. How many were one short down there? Telly for survivability is probably going to be important. These can be used, since I only need 5 more points, I'll be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get it from the secondaries in here. I'll probably go the damage reduction, just like endgame build. Mana regen is fine. Probably shimmering, because the CC is going to be important for survivability. I think this is probably more important. And then enhanced and mystical. Oh, that's where my vulnerability comes from. I knew I accounted for that. So vulnerability. At that point, we get the conjuration. Pretty much none of the conjuration stuff is going to be like for leveling. This is important. This, once you have all your abilities, they all have all their additional bonuses on them. That's when you start pushing these bad boys up. So 3, how many more do we need? 6 more points down there. So probably 4, 5, 6. How many? We're close now. 2 more. And I'll finish those out. So this is where roughly I would be at the point where getting those, so about level 24 is when I will have finished Arc Lash, I'll have finished Charge Bolts, and then everything in defensive will have the required allotment of points in there. I won't need to go too much further past this for these. I don't think I'll ever put these at 2, most likely. Of all of them, maybe Ice Armor, just for the increase, because that'll put it up to 33. I mean, maybe would be the only one if I need a point anywhere. I'm at 10 down there right now. There's a lot of side stuff like stuff like that. I think more importantly, probably getting Elemental Dominance. Getting this up is going to be good. That does put me at a point where I can get Unstable Currents, Prime, and Supreme. I'm 5 points short. I just had a question I had for the endgame one. Why the 4 extra points in Arc Lash? Because it's actually a good question. I think there was a reason that I had those in there to push down. Endgame, I would potentially shift stuff off of Arc Lash. That's not a bad idea. I'll take a look at that. Shifting points off of Arc Lash into something for burns might be good. I think probably the only spots I would end up putting it is like maybe coursing currents. Fiery, I could push into these sides a little bit. These two right here, if I'm gonna do it, Fiery Surge and Endless Pyre is probably where I would put those points. If I moved 4 from that other build, if I moved them from, if I had the capacity to move them from Arclash, that might be the way that I go. That's not a bad idea. So that's important. So at this point, 29, 30 would probably result in, I need to finish doing Elemental Dominance. That gets me 4 points short. This is level 30. I would probably do Glass Cannon. I need to do Glass Cannon. I need to do Precision Magic later. Align the Elements is going to be good for survivability. So I think just for level 30, this is not a bad idea. You got me thinking about whether or not it's worth it to put 5 points in Arclash just for the damage alone. Every 10 times you Arclash swipes, it stuns only for 2 seconds. So so if I'm going to swap those points out, no, David, it's actually good because you reminded me that is not my damage generator. It's about charge bolt spam as much as possible. So, because killing a burning enemy increases your mana regen by 10%, and at this point, everything should be on fire anyway. Getting 3 in there, this is actually fucking huge. That's a big damage increase for Endless Pyre for bosses will be a fucking big damage increase. Bosses and elites, this would probably be the way that I end up doing it. I'm glad you brought it up. I think Barbs will be the least played class. I think Druid probably will be. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what'll be the bottom. But yeah, there's kind of no reason to not run that. Fuck. This is probably a point in which I'm gonna fuck around with the stat and the way that this build is set up. I'm glad you said something. I do appreciate it. Let me save the changes on that. Barb won't be least played class. Actually, it might be Necro because of the I don't know. I don't know what'll be the bottom. Druid's gonna be good end game. Necro's powerful. Necro's problem is the mobility. Yeah. Sorcerer has wild mobility and survivability. I think the damage output's gonna be nuts too. I think Sorcerer is gonna be really fucking good. I need to clear out this stuff though. Let me delete that board. Delete that board. This is the only actual plan that I have thus far. If I give you guys this link, I want to make sure that I'm not giving you a build that I'm not confident in. If that's the case, and I'm running a 2-hander, I won't be running a 1-hander. Davi, you got me fucked up, dude. You got me fucked up, man. I spent so much time thinking about every aspect of this, and in 2 seconds, you're like, hey, what about this? And now my brain is a clusterfuck. Which I do, I like I said, I appreciate. Not worth it, not worth it. Not worth it, not worth it. Not worth it. Yeah, this is probably where I would shift those points. The only thing I'm wondering is if that's gonna fuck up the way that I do. I'll be endgame at this point. I'll have all my points, so it won't matter. This is build somewhere. I'm gonna put it somewhere in a second. Yeah. And I have my level 30 set up here too, because this is basically what I'm gonna push into to start before we're even at an end game point. And this is all, this level 30 setup is based solely on like dependency on what skill, what legendaries you pick up, or if you get anything that like adds levels to skills, shit like that. Like, it would be phenomenal to get an item for my endgame build that gives me 1 point in Firebolt. And I won't need to burn that point, right? It's going to be interesting to see how the gear setups are going to change the plan across the board. Whatever drops you get will fuck you up, right? It'll, like, this stuff, as much as we love the plan, the game will come out of nowhere. Like someone in chat will come out of nowhere and say, hey, what about this? And you'll be like, okay, cool. Now I don't know what the fuck to do, right?
Use code DrLupo. Use code DrLupo.